This is a walkthrough of my Rails app with a jQuery front-end project. The goal of this project is to expand upon my previous Rails project by adding dynamic features using jQuery and a JSON API to append data to existing pages without a page refresh. The application is called My Watch Collection and allows a user who collects watches to document their collection. I am a watch collector, which is why I wanted to develop this application. The first page presented is the login page, and a user may log in by entering an email address and a password, or sign in with a Facebook account. New users may also sign up by entering an email address and a password, which needs to be confirmed. I shall log in as an existing user. I'm first going to demonstrate the parts of my application that satisfy the project's requirements, followed by the other functions. This user has 43 watches saved, but only 16 are being displayed because that is the default set by the application. But also displayed are page links which may be used to navigate to those other pages by clicking on Next, Previous, or on a page number. And in all of those instances, the current list of watches displayed will be removed and will be replaced by the next page of watches, which will be appended to this page without any page refresh occurring here. And I will demonstrate that. By clicking on Next, we are taken to the next page. Clicking Next will take us to the last page. Clicking Previous will take us back to page 2, and here I can click on page 1, say, to go to page 1. And in all of those instances, there was no page refresh occurring here. The user may also click on a watch name to go to the Show Watch page, and here initially only the watch name will be displayed. The user has three options here to decide what they want to display on this page. And the first one is the Show Watch Details, which will display the details of the watch. The next one is the Show Complications link, which will display all complications attached to that watch. And the Add Complications link will display a form to help the user to add complications to that watch. In all of those instances, there will be no page refresh occurring here, and I will demonstrate that also. So clicking on Show Watch Details will display the watch details. Show Complications link will display the complications attached to that watch. In this case, there is only one. Clicking the Add Complications link will display the form that will allow the user to add complications to the watch. And in all of those displays, there is no page refresh occurring. I will now demonstrate how to add complications to the watch. And here the user has two options. They can select a complication or complications from this list, which is a list of complications stored on a database. If the complication they want to add does not exist in this list, they can add it by entering the name and description here in the Add New Complication form. And I will demonstrate. I will add a chronograph flyback and a dual time zone GMT complication from the list. And I will add a test complication here and description from the Add New Complication form. Clicking on Update Watch will now add those three new complications to the watch's display of complications. And also, the new complication will have been added to the database. Clicking on Show Complications here will sort those complications into an alphabetical order. By clicking on the Show All of My Watches link, we will be taken back to the first page. And here, to demonstrate, here we have a form which will allow the user to actually change the number of watches being presented on a page. And this is only displayed along with the Pages link if there are more than 16 watches saved. And I'll demonstrate this by entering, say, for example, the number 10 here and clicking on Submit. And now the number of watches per page has changed to 10, and the page link has been updated to show that now there are more pages to present those watches. I will now take this back to the original 16. And here also we have other links that may be used. The first one here that I will demonstrate is the who makes most of my watches link, which when clicked will display a list of the maker of most of my watches. In this case it's in a company called Invicta, and there are 24 watches. Clicking on show my 10 newest watches will display those newest watches in the order of newest to oldest. Here also we have the option to do two searches, to apply two searches to this application, and both of those will accept lowercase characters. The first one is find a watch, and here the user can enter a complete name of a watch in order to display that specific watch, or they can enter a partial name to display a list of watches that contains that partial string that they've entered. Here we can demonstrate this by entering the complete name of a watch. This is an example. That watch is now being displayed here, the watch name, and they can now click on the watch name to go and do whatever they need to with this particular watch. Also by adding a character string here, as for example boat, and clicking on search, that will present all the watches that contain that character string of boat. For the finder maker search, they need to enter the complete full name of the maker here, and by clicking on search, in this example, the company called Aragon, these are all the watches that they have, and there are 11. I will now demonstrate how to process the complications. Here is the original watch that we added the 3 complications to, and those 3 complications are not ones that actually exist on this particular watch. The only complication on this watch is the date window. So now I am going to remove those 3 from that watch. The first one, we click on the name, that will take us to a page which will always display the description of any complication whose name is clicked on. So I need to delete this complication from the watch, and we're being asked there, are we sure we want to do that? We do, so by clicking on OK, that will delete that complication from the watch and from the display. So we click on the next one, click on delete, and click on OK, and that also is removed from the watch and the display. Now the remaining complication is one that we added as a new complication totally, which not only added it to the watch but also added it to the database. So we need to remove it from both. So we can click on the name, and here we have a new link that we can use for that, called delete this complication from the list, and this message is telling us that the following link also deletes the complication from all watches, so we need to be careful. So we click on that link. It's asking us if we're sure we want to do that, because all watches will lose this complication. And we are sure about that, so we click OK, and now the complication has been deleted from the list, from the display, and from the database. So by clicking now on show complications, we see that the only complication now remaining on that watch is the actual one that belongs to it. The user may also add a new watch to their collection, and here we are taken to the new watch page where we can create a watch, and there are 2 required fields in order to do so. So if I, for instance, was to click on create watch here now without entering anything, a message will appear telling me that I need to fill out the watch name field. So I can put a test watch name in there, and I can also do the same for watchmaker. And now both required fields have been filled in, so I can create the watch. The watch has been successfully created and saved. Here we have an image of a watch, but this is a default image because as yet I have not entered a specific image for this watch. So I can go ahead and do that now by clicking edit this watch. We're taken to the edit this watch page, and I can then click on choose file in order to choose an image to add to the watch. And here I can now navigate to wherever I have stored images for my watches. For this particular watch, I can just select one that I have on a desktop as an example. So now by clicking Update Watch, we can see that that image has now been added to the details for this watch. And of course, the original image can be any size because it will always default to the size required to fill this space. The user may also delete a watch. And here we are being asked, are we sure we want to do that? We are sure, so we can click on OK. And now that watch has been deleted. There are also links on the navigation bar for the user to utilize. The first one is the My Watch Collection link, which is the name of the application, and we'll demonstrate how we can use that. If, say, we are here on a new watch page, by clicking back, that will only take us back to the Show Watch page. But if we want to go directly to that first page, we can just click on the My Watch Collection link, and that will always take us back to this first page, wherever we are. There is also a message here letting us know who's logged in, and that's just for information, not a link. There's a sign out link that will sign the user out of the application. And there's an edit profile link which will allow the user to edit their profile, and I will demonstrate that one now. First of all, I'm going to sign out of that user, and then I'm going to sign up as a completely new user. And here I am now signed up as a new user, and of course there are no watches to display because I've just signed up, which is why this message is telling us that there are currently no watches to display. So now by clicking on that edit profile link, we're taken to the edit user page where we can change the email address and or the password. So I will change the email address to a new one. If I click Update Now, we get an error message that's telling us that the current password can't be blank, because as it says here, we need your current password to confirm your changes. So I will enter that now. Click on Update, and there the account has been updated successfully, and now the new email address is appearing on the navigation bar. Also, the user can cancel their account by clicking on this Cancel My Account button. We are being asked, are you sure? Because all of your watches will also be deleted. So click on OK here to do that. And that user account has now been successfully cancelled. There is also a watch education link which will take the user to a web page where they can learn everything they need to know about watches. And here's a list of those things which will be presented further down the page. There's also a Watches Online link that will take the user to a website that sells watches of all categories and brands. And there are also 3 social media links for Twitter, Facebook and Google+. And that is the end of my walkthrough. Thank you for listening.